Asterisk asterisk the parking garage on 5th and Madison smelled like engine oil and rained at asterisk asterisk. Marcus Hayes pushed his yellow mop bucket across the concrete floor, his worn sneakers squeaking against the wet surface. 11:47 p.m. 13 more minutes, and he could clock out, catch the last bus home, relieve Mrs. Chen from watching his son. The elderly woman never complained, but he saw how her arthritis made her wince when she stood too long. His lower back throbbed, the dull, constant ache that started around hour 7 of every shift. 8 years as a janitor at Preston Financial Tower. 8 years of invisible labor, cleaning the offices of people who made his yearly salary in a month. Thunder cracked overhead. Through the parking garage's open walls, rain sheeted down in gray curtains, turning Madison Avenue into a river. That's when he saw the old man, hunched near the garage entrance, no coat, just a thin cardigan and slacks soaked through. 70s, maybe older. Shaking so hard his hands trembled against his knees. The kind of shaking that comes from cold sinking into your bones. Marcus stopped pushing his bucket. Asterisk keep moving. Not your problem. You're late already. Asterisk. But the man's lips had a bluish tint. Marcus looked at his phone. 11:51 p.m. Mrs. Chen would be falling asleep in his armchair. Jamie would be tucked in bed, his asthma inhaler on the nightstand where it belonged, Spider-Man nightlight glowing. The umbrella leaned against his cleaning cart. Black, sturdy. Not fancy, but it worked. He'd bought it 3 months ago from the dollar store, saved up the spare change for 2 weeks. Asterisk you need that umbrella. The forecast says rain all week. Asterisk. The old man coughed, wet, rattling. His whole body convulsed. Marcus grabbed the umbrella. Sir. He approached slowly. Sir, you okay? The man looked up. Pale gray eyes, unfocused. Confused. I was waiting for, someone was supposed to. Let's get you dry. Marcus opened the umbrella, held it over the man's head. Rain immediately soaked Marcus's uniform shirt. Where do you need to go? The Grandview. The Grandview Hotel. The words came out slurred. Not drunk, something else. Something wrong. The Grandview was 12 blocks north. Expensive. The kind of place with doormen in uniforms nicer than anything Marcus owned. Can you walk? The man tried to stand. His legs buckled. Marcus caught him, the umbrella clattering to the ground. The old man weighed almost nothing, all bone and trembling muscle. His skin felt like ice. Hold on. Marcus half carried, half dragged him to the garage entrance where the overhead lights were brighter. He fished out his phone with his free hand, started to dial 911. A black Mercedes pulled up, tires hissing through puddles. A woman in her 50s jumped out, designer heels splashing. Father. Oh my God, Father. She rushed forward, and Marcus found himself suddenly shoved aside. What did you do to him? Her voice cut sharp. She pulled her father against her, shot Marcus a look of pure suspicion. Did you take anything? His wallet? His watch? No, I was just. He's confused. He gets confused. She was already guiding her father toward the car, voice rising. Security. Someone call security. Marcus stepped back, hands raised. I was helping him. He was cold. I gave him His umbrella lay in a puddle, forgotten. The woman had her phone out now, filming him. I'm documenting this. The police will want to see. Please, I work here. I'm just a janitor. A janitor who was grabbing my elderly father. She turned to someone Marcus couldn't see. Yes, I need to report an incident. Preston Financial Tower parking garage. A man was. Her eyes raked over Marcus, taking in his dark skin, his worn uniform, his raised hands. Harassing my father. Marcus felt the moment crystallize. The security cameras overhead. The woman's phone still recording. The old man slumped in the Mercedes's passenger seat, eyes closed. I didn't touch him. I was helping. But she was already in the car, speeding away, tires shrieking. Marcus stood alone in the rain. His umbrella floated in a puddle, slowly filling with water. Asterisk what just happened? Asterisk. 2 security guards rounded the corner, hands on their radios. Sir, We need you to come with us. Marcus sat in the security office while the guards reviewed footage. His uniform clung to his skin. Water dripped from his hair onto the concrete floor. The clock on the wall read 12:47 a.m. He'd missed the last bus. Mrs. Chen would be worried. Jamie would wake up at 6, asking for breakfast, asking where Daddy was. The head guard, Rodriguez, finally looked up from the monitor. The footage shows you approached him first. He was shaking. Cold. I thought he was. It shows you grabbing him. Catching him. He fell. Rodriguez's expression didn't change. The woman filed a report. Says you were aggressive. Threatening. That's not. Mr. Hayes. Rodriguez leaned back in his chair. You've been with us 8 years. No incidents. But this looks bad. The daughter's already calling her lawyers. She's connected. Her father's some retired executive. Preston Financial does business with his old company. The room felt smaller. Alice. I was trying to help. I believe you. Rodriguez sounded tired. But belief doesn't matter. Corporate's going to want this to dissipate. Quietly. What does that mean? Rodriguez wouldn't meet his eyes. Report says you'll be placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Effective immediately. The words didn't make sense at first. Administrative leave. Investigation. I didn't do anything wrong. I know. Then why? Because she's threatening to sue. Because her father's important. Because. Rodriguez finally looked at him. Because it's easier to let you go than fight it. I'm sorry. Marcus walked out of Preston Financial Tower at 1:15 a.m. The rain had stopped. Madison Avenue glistened black under the streetlights. The last umbrella he'd ever owned sat forgotten in a parking garage puddle. He had exactly $43 in his checking account. Rent was due in 11 days. Jamie needed his asthma refill in 6. His phone buzzed. Mrs. Chen, everything okay, Marcus stared at the message. Everything was not okay. Everything had just shattered. And somewhere uptown, in a hotel room that cost more per night than Marcus made in a week, an old man was probably already asleep, warm and dry, completely unaware that his rescue had just destroyed the life of the man who'd saved him. 16 months ago, Marcus Hayes had been a different man. Not richer. Not more successful. But whole. He'd worked the same janitor job at Preston Financial. Same yellow bucket. Same night shift. Same invisible existence. But when his shift ended at midnight, he'd walk home to a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in Queens where his wife Jessica would be awake, sketching at the kitchen table. She'd been studying graphic design through online courses, determined to build something better for their family. Jamie was 4 then, still young enough to think his parents could do anything. The accident happened on a Tuesday. Jessica had been walking home from the grocery store, 3 blocks from their apartment. The driver ran a red light doing 50 in a 30 zone. Witnesses said she never saw it coming. The police called Marcus at work. He remembered Rodriguez's face when he delivered the news, that same tired expression, that same helpless look. The driver had been texting. 17 years old, her father a partner at some law firm downtown. She'd cried in court, said she was sorry, meant it probably. The judge gave her 2 years probation and community service. Jessica got a funeral Marcus couldn't afford and a cemetery plot paid for by Jessica's mother, who'd flown in from Florida and flown back out 3 days later without offering to take Jamie. Marcus learned something in those first weeks after. The world doesn't pause for grief. Rent still came due. Jamie still needed to eat. The hospital bills from Jessica's final hours still arrived, each one a fresh knife wound. He'd used his umbrella at her funeral. Black, sturdy, keeping the November rain off Jamie's head while his son asked questions Marcus couldn't answer. When is mommy coming home? Why did the lady hit her with the car? Did I do something bad? That umbrella had mattered. It was one of the few things Marcus owned that worked, that protected, that did what it was supposed to do. Now it was gone. The morning after the incident, Marcus called Preston Financial's HR department. Administrative leave means without pay, the woman on the phone explained. Her voice was crisp, professional, carefully devoid of sympathy. The investigation typically takes 2 to 4 weeks. I have rent due. I understand this is difficult. I have a son. He has asthma. His medication. Mr. Hayes, I'm very sorry, but until the investigation concludes, there's nothing we can do. If you're cleared, you'll receive back pay for the leave period. If he was cleared. Marcus hung up and stared at his kitchen table. Jamie's cereal bowl sat unwashed in the sink. His son was at kindergarten. Marcus had walked him there this morning, smiling like everything was fine, like Daddy wasn't about to lose everything. He opened his laptop and started searching for jobs. But the internet had gotten there first. Man accused of assaulting elderly executive in parking garage. The headline sat at the top of a local news blog. Below it, a grainy photo, Marcus's raised hands, the woman filming him, the old man slumped in the car. The angle made it look like Marcus was lunging forward. The article named him. Full name, workplace, everything. The comment section was a sore. Another thug thinking he can rob people. Why was he even working there? Background check fail. Lock him up before he hurts someone else. Marcus closed the laptop. His hands were shaking. By day 3, the story had spread that someone at Preston Financial leaked it to their company Slack. Then someone screenshot the Slack and posted it to Twitter. Then someone else found Marcus's old Facebook profile, dormant since Jessica died, and shared his photos. His face. Jamie's face. The messages started coming. Death threats, mostly. Some racial slurs. A few people doxing his address, posting it publicly with suggestions about what should happen to him. Marcus deleted his social media. Changed his phone number. Stopped answering the door. But he couldn't stop Jamie from asking questions. Why aren't you going to work, Daddy? Just taking some time off, buddy. Are we okay? No. We're fine. Week 2, Marcus started selling things. The TV went first, $60 from a pawn shop on Roosevelt Avenue. Then Jessica's jewelry, the pieces her mother hadn't taken. A wedding ring that fetched less than Marcus paid for it. His winter coat. His good shoes. He applied to 17 jobs. Gas stations, grocery stores, overnight warehouse positions. Anything. Nobody called back. When he followed up, the managers' voices went cold the moment they heard his name. The article had spread too far. One Google search and employers saw the photo, the headline, the comments calling him a criminal. His landlord started leaving notes under the door. Rent is now 15 days past due. Final notice before eviction proceedings. You have 72 hours. Jamie's inhaler ran out. The pharmacy wanted $85 for the refill without insurance. Marcus had $40 total. Can you do half now, half later? The pharmacist looked uncomfortable. Store policy is full payment up front. My son has asthma. He needs this. I'm sorry. I can't. Marcus walked home empty-handed. That night, Jamie coughed until 3 a.m., that distinctive wheeze that meant his airways were constricting. Marcus sat beside his bed, helpless, terrified, listening to his son struggle to breathe. At 4 a.m., he finally broke down and called 911. The ER visit cost $900 they didn't have. But they gave Jamie a breathing treatment and a sample inhaler and a lecture about following up with his pediatrician. Marcus held his son's hand in the hospital waiting room and felt something inside him crack. This is my fault. I gave away an umbrella. That's all I did. I gave away an umbrella to help someone, and now my son can't breathe. Week 3, the eviction notice came. Official, stamped, legal. 30 days to vacate. Marcus sat on the floor of their apartment. Most of the furniture had been sold, and tried to figure out what came next. Shelters were full. Friend from his old life had drifted away after Jessica died. Her family wanted nothing to do with them. He tried calling the woman who'd accused him, found her name through the police report. Left 6 messages. She never responded. He tried contacting the old man directly, The report listed his name as Charles Westbrook, retired CEO of Grandview Industries. But the Grandview Hotel wouldn't put calls through, and the company's offices said he was unavailable. Nobody wanted to hear his side. Nobody cared that he'd been trying to help. Jamie came home from school with a note from his teacher. * Jamie seems withdrawn lately. Is everything okay at home? *. Nothing was okay. Marcus's phone buzzed. A collection agency, calling about the hospital bill. He didn't answer. He couldn't answer. What was he supposed to say? * I helped someone. I gave away my umbrella. And for that, I lost everything. That night, Jamie asked the question Marcus had been dreading. Daddy, are we going to be homeless? Marcus pulled his son close. No, buddy. Never. I promise. But the promise felt hollow. Empty. Because Marcus Hayes, 34 years old, single father, former janitor, accused criminal, evicted tenant, couldn't see a way forward. The umbrella had cost $1. His kindness had cost everything else. Charles Westbrook woke in his suite at the Grandview Hotel and couldn't remember how he'd gotten there. The disorientation was familiar now, gaps in memory, moments lost. His doctor had a word for it. Early onset dementia, progressing faster than expected. Some days Charles felt sharp, present. Other days, the world blurred at the edges. Yesterday had been a blur day. He remembered rain. Cold. Someone's hands catching him. Father. His daughter Catherine entered with breakfast on a tray. How are you feeling? Confused. Charles rubbed his temples. What happened last night? Catherine's expression tightened. You wandered off again. I found you in a parking garage. That man. She stopped herself. It doesn't matter. You're safe now. What man? The janitor. The one who was bothering you. Charles frowned. The memory was there, just out of reach. I don't remember anyone bothering me. You were confused. He took advantage of that. Catherine set the tray down. I've already filed a report. The company's handling it. Something about her tone bothered Charles. Too rehearsed. Too smooth. What report? Father, please. Let's not. Catherine. What report? She sighed. Assault. Attempted theft. The security footage was unclear, and you were disoriented, so I wanted to make sure. You filed an assault report. Charles stood, suddenly alert. For what? The man grabbed you. Maybe I fell. Did that occur to you? He was aggressive. Or maybe he was helping me. Charles crossed to the window. Rain streaked down the glass, same as last night. I was alone in a parking garage during a storm. Confused. Maybe he was just trying to help. You don't remember it clearly. Neither do you. You weren't there until the end. Catherine's jaw tightened. I'm protecting you. By destroying someone's life. It's already done, Father. The man's on leave. There's an investigation. If he's innocent, it'll clear him. Charles turned to face his daughter. Will it? Or will he just be another name on a report, another casualty of someone covering their tracks? He'd spent 40 years in corporate America. He knew exactly how these investigations worked. The outcome was predetermined. Protect the company, minimize liability, sacrifice whoever was easiest to sacrifice. I want to see the footage, Charles said. Father. I want to see what actually happened. It took Charles 3 days to get access to the security video. Catherine tried to block him, but Charles still had friends at Preston Financial. Men he'd done business with, executives who owed him favors. One phone call and the footage arrived via encrypted email. Charles watched it alone in his hotel suite. The video was grainy, shot from a high angle. But the sequence was clear. The old man, himself, hunched near the garage entrance. Shaking. Obviously in distress. The janitor approaching. Hesitant at first, then decisive. Opening an umbrella, holding it over Charles's head while getting soaked himself. Charles trying to stand, legs buckling. The janitor catching him. Not grabbing, catching. Supporting his weight. Then Catherine arriving. Shoving the janitor away. filming him while he backed up, hands raised, clearly confused and defensive. The janitor is saying something. Charles couldn't hear the audio, but he could read lips well enough. I was helping him. Catherine pulling Charles into the car, leaving the umbrella behind. Charles watched the footage 3 times. Then he opened his laptop and searched for the janitor's name. Marcus Hayes. The search results made Charles's chest tighten. Articles, photos, comment sections full of vitriol. Accusations. Death threats. The man's entire life laid bare and dissected by strangers who knew nothing about what actually happened. Charles clicked on a news photo. Marcus Hayes outside Preston Financial Tower, looking exhausted and defeated. The caption read, suspended janitor maintains innocence in assault case. Charles kept digging. Court records. Jessica Hayes, deceased 16 months prior. Vehicular manslaughter, driver given probation. Public records. Eviction notice filed 2 weeks ago. Address in Queens, one of the cheaper neighborhoods. A GoFundMe page someone had started and then abandoned. Help Marcus Hayes fight false charges with exactly 0 donations. Charles sat back in his chair. This man had lost his wife. Was raising a son alone. Worked night shifts cleaning offices for people like Charles. Had stopped to help a confused old man in the rain, given him his umbrella, tried to keep him safe. And for that kindness, Marcus Hayes was losing everything. God, Charles whispered. He picked up his phone. Meanwhile, across the city, Marcus Hayes was breaking. The eviction hearing had been brief. The judge was sympathetic but powerless. Rent was rent, and Marcus hadn't paid. 30 days to vacate, effective immediately. Marcus walked out of the courthouse into cold November rain. No umbrella this time. He let the water soak through his jacket, too exhausted to care. Jamie was at school. Marcus had exactly 4 hours before pickup. 4 hours to figure out how to tell his 6-year-old son that they were going to be homeless. He walked without direction, ending up at the cemetery where Jessica was buried. Her headstone was simple. Jessica Marie Hayes. Beloved wife and mother. The dates between birth and death, 31 years. Not enough time. Not nearly enough. Marcus sat on the wet grass beside her grave. I don't know what to do, he said aloud. I tried. I really tried. But everything's gone. The apartment, the job, everything. And Jamie. His voice cracked. He's scared, Jess. He knows something's wrong. He's 6 years old and is scared and I can't fix it. The rain kept falling. I just gave someone an umbrella. That's all it was. And now. Marcus put his head in his hands. Maybe I should have just walked past. Kept my head down. Stayed invisible. But I saw him shaking and I couldn't just leave him there. A groundskeeper walked by with a rake, nodded respectfully, kept moving. Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Jamie's school. Jamie having trouble breathing. Please call. The panic was instant and overwhelming. Marcus ran. He made it to the school in 20 minutes, lungs burning, soaked through. Jamie sat in the nurse's office, breathing shallowly, face pale. The school nurse had given him a treatment from the emergency inhaler they kept on file, but it wasn't enough. He needs his regular medication, the nurse said. Do you have his prescription? I can't afford the refill. The nurse's expression shifted. Not judgment, exactly. Pity. Mr. Hayes, his asthma is severe. Without proper medication. I know. The words came out sharper than Marcus intended. He softened his voice. I know. I'm trying. I need time. He doesn't have time. If this gets worse, you need to take him to the ER. Another ER visit. Another bill they couldn't pay. Marcus knelt in front of his son. Hey, buddy. How you feeling? Jamie's eyes were wet. Scared. I know. Me too. Are we gonna be okay? Marcus pulled Jamie close, felt his son's rapid heartbeat against his chest, heard the wheeze in every breath. No. We're not okay. We're drowning and there's no one coming to save us. Yeah, buddy, Marcus lied. We're gonna be fine. But sitting in that nurse's office, holding his struggling son, Marcus Hayes felt something inside him finally surrender. He'd fought. He'd tried. He'd been good, worked hard, helped people. None of it mattered. The world was going to take everything, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. His phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus almost didn't answer. Mr. Hayes. A man's voice, older, cultured. My name is Charles Westbrook. I believe we met 3 weeks ago in a parking garage. Marcus went very still. I've seen the security footage, Charles continued. And I've spent the past 2 days learning what happened to you after that night. Mr. Hayes, I need to see you. Immediately. Can you tell me where you are? Marcus looked at Jamie, still wheezing in his arms. I'm at my son's school, he said quietly. PS 114 in Queens. Stay there. I'm coming to you. The line went dead. Marcus sat on the floor of the nurse's office, still holding Jamie, and for the first time in 3 weeks, felt something that might have been hope. Charles Westbrook arrived at PS 114 4 to 5 minutes later in a town car that looked absurdly expensive parked outside the aging school building. Marcus watched through the nurse's office window as an elderly man climbed out, slower than he probably once moved, leaning slightly on a cane. The same man from the parking garage, but steadier now. Present. Recognition clicked. Charles Westbrook, founder and former CEO of Grandview Industries. Worth somewhere north of $500 million according to the articles Marcus had found while researching his accuser. The man whose daughter had destroyed Marcus's life. Marcus stood, keeping Jamie close. Stay here, buddy. I'll be right back. The nurse looked uncertain. Mr. Hayes, is that someone I need to talk to? Marcus met Charles in the school's front hallway. For a moment, neither man spoke. Then Charles extended his hand. Mr. Hayes, I owe you an apology. Marcus stared at the offered hand. Your daughter accused me of assault. I know. I lost my job, my apartment, everything. I know. Charles lowered his hand but didn't break eye contact. And I'm here to make it right. You can't. The words came out bitter. It's done. The articles, the reports, my name, it's all out there. Permanent. Then we'll fight it. Publicly. I've already spoken with my lawyers. I can't afford lawyers. I'm paying for them. The best firm in the city. Charles took a breath. Mr. Hayes, I've reviewed the security footage. I've seen what actually happened. You saved my life that night. I was hypothermic, confused. If you hadn't stopped, if you hadn't given me your umbrella. He paused. My daughter was wrong. Completely wrong. And I intend to set the record straight. Marcus wanted to believe him. God, he wanted to believe him. But he'd learned not to trust powerful people making promises. Why? Marcus asked. Why now? Why not 3 weeks ago? Because 3 weeks ago, I didn't remember. The dementia. Some days are better than others. That night was bad. But I'm lucid now. And I've spent the past 48 hours learning what my daughter's accusations did to you. Charles's voice hardened. It ends today. A wheeze echoed from the nurse's office. Jamie, struggling. Charles's expression shifted. Is that your son? He has asthma. Severe. I can't afford his medication. Charles pulled out his phone, made a call. Dr. Morrison? Charles Westbrook. I need a pediatric pulmonologist at PS 114 in Queens. Immediately. And have them bring. He looked at Marcus. What medication? Albuterol sulfate. And a controller inhaler, budesonide. Charles repeated the information. Cost is irrelevant. I'm covering it. Just get here. He hung up. Doctor will be here in 20 minutes. Marcus felt dizzy. You can't just. I can. And I am. Charles moved toward the nurse's office. May I meet him? Jamie looked tiny in the nurse's chair, wheezing with each breath. Charles knelt slowly, joints protesting. Up close, he could see the boy's fear, the exhaustion in eyes too young to carry so much worry. Hello, Charles said gently. I'm Charles. I'm a friend of your father's. Jamie looked at Marcus, uncertain. It's okay, buddy, Marcus said. Are you? Jamie took a rattling breath. Are you the man Daddy helped? Charles felt something crack in his chest. Yes. Yes, I am. He gave you his umbrella. He did. It was very kind. The kindest thing anyone's done for me in a long time. Jamie nodded seriously. Daddy's always kind, even when people are mean to him. The nurse excused herself, giving them privacy. Charles remained kneeling, studying this small boy who was trying so hard to be brave. Your father told me you like Spider-Man, Charles said. Jamie's eyes brightened slightly. Yeah, he saves people. Like your dad saved me. But nobody saved Daddy. The words were matter-of-fact, devastating. When he helped you, bad things happened. People said he was bad. But he's not bad. He's my daddy and he's good. Charles had to look away, blinking hard. When he spoke again, his voice was rough. You're right. Your daddy is good. And I'm going to make sure everyone knows it. Dr. Morrison arrived 18 minutes later with a full medical bag and a prescription pad. She examined Jamie quickly, efficiently, prescribed 3 medications and gave him an immediate breathing treatment. Within 20 minutes, Jamie's breathing had eased. Within an hour, he was almost back to normal, clutching a new inhaler and a follow-up appointment card. No charge, Dr. Morrison said when Marcus tried to ask about costs. Mr. Westbrook's covered everything, including 6 months of follow-up care. Marcus couldn't speak. Charles guided him to the hallway. I've arranged temporary housing. The Grandview has extended stay suites. You and your son can stay there while we sort everything else out. I can't accept. Yes, you can. You gave me your umbrella when you had nothing. Let me give you this. Charles's tone left no room for argument. My driver will take you to collect whatever belongings you need from your apartment. You'll be moved in by tonight. Mr. Westbrook. Charles, please. Marcus shook his head, overwhelmed. This is too much. I don't understand why. Because it's right. Charles met his eyes. Because your kindness shouldn't have been punished. Because I'm old and rich and running out of time to do meaningful things with my money. Because that boy in there, he gestured toward Jamie, deserves better than what the world's given him. Marcus's throat tightened. What about your daughter? She won't. Catherine will understand. Eventually. Charles's expression hardened. And if she doesn't, that's her problem. You're under my protection now, Mr. Hayes. Both of you. By evening, Marcus and Jamie were settled in a suite at the Grandview Hotel. 2 bedrooms. Full kitchen. Windows overlooking Central Park. The kind of place Marcus had only seen in movies. Jamie explored with wide eyes, running from room to room. Daddy, look. The bathroom has a TV. And the shower has like 6 different sprays. Marcus stood in the center of the living room, still numb. His phone rang. Preston Financial's HR department. Mr. Hayes? I'm calling to inform you that the investigation has been concluded. You're cleared of all charges. We'd like to welcome you back. No. Silence on the other end. I'm sorry. I don't want the job back. Mr. Hayes, you've been fully exonerated. Your position is waiting. The position where everyone believed I was guilty? Where your company threw me away the moment it was convenient. Marcus's voice was steady, cold. No, I'm done. He hung up. Charles had been right. The lawyers had worked fast. A press conference scheduled for tomorrow morning. Full retraction of all charges. Public apology from Preston Financial and, separately, from Catherine Westbrook. But Marcus knew the real fight was just beginning. The next morning, Catherine Westbrook appeared at the Grandview's lobby. She looked smaller than Marcus remembered. Tired. Her designer coat couldn't hide the tension in her shoulders. Mr. Hayes. She approached cautiously. May I speak with you? Marcus had been on his way to breakfast with Jamie. He handed his son off to the concierge, a kind woman who'd offered to show Jamie the hotel's rooftop garden, and turned to face Catherine. I owe you an apology, she began. Yes. I was protecting my father. He'd been wandering, getting lost. I was terrified something would happen to him. When I saw you with him, I assumed the worst. Because I'm black. Because I'm poor. Because I work nights cleaning toilets. Marcus kept his voice level. You assumed I was a criminal. Catherine flinched. Yes. And when you learned the truth, you did nothing. While I lost my job, my home, while my son couldn't breathe because I couldn't afford his medication, you did nothing. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Marcus stepped closer. Your apology means nothing to me, Ms. Westbrook. The only reason you're here is because your father forced you. Because the lawyers told you it would look better. Catherine's eyes glistened. You're right. Everything you're saying is right. I was wrong. Completely wrong. And I'm sorry. Tell it to the reporters tomorrow. Tell it to everyone who believed your lies. Marcus turned to leave, then stopped. Your father is a good man. I don't know how he raised someone like you. He walked away, leaving Catherine standing alone in the lobby. That night, Marcus found Charles on the hotel's rooftop terrace. The old man sat in a wheelchair. His energy was fading, the dementia making him tire more easily. But his eyes were clear when Marcus approached. Your daughter came by, Marcus said. I know. She called me. Crying. Charles gestured to the empty chair beside him. Sit. Marcus Saturday. She means well, Charles said. But meaning well isn't enough. Intent doesn't erase harm. No, it doesn't. They watched the city lights together. Somewhere out there was the parking garage where this had all started. The apartment Marcus had lost. The school where Jamie had struggled to breathe. The press conference is tomorrow, Charles said. Are you ready? I don't know. Marcus rubbed his face. Part of me wants to hide. Let the lawyers handle it. But another part wants them to see you. To hear your voice. To know what they did. Yes. Charles nodded slowly. Good. That's the part you need to listen to. Don't let them make you invisible again, Marcus. You were invisible for too long. I was just a janitor. You were never just anything. Charles turned to look at him. You're a father. A survivor. A man who gives away his lost umbrella to a stranger in the rain. That's not nothing. That's everything. Marcus felt his eyes burn. I don't know how to do this. How to be seen. You just tell the truth. Tomorrow, at the press conference, you tell them exactly what happened and exactly what it cost you. You let them feel the weight of it. Charles reached over, squeezed Marcus's shoulder. And then we make sure it never happens to anyone else. The press conference was held in Preston Financial Tower's main conference room. Marcus stood backstage, wearing a suit Charles had bought him, charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. Jamie sat in the front row with Mrs. Jen, who'd cried when she learned what had happened and insisted on being there for support. Through the curtain, Marcus could see the room filling. Reporters. Cameras. Board members from Preston Financial looking uncomfortable in their seats. Catherine Westbrook sat in the back row, alone. Charles appeared beside Marcus, leaning on his cane. Ready? No. Good. The truth doesn't need preparation. It just needs to be spoken. Charles squeezed his arm. I'll go first. Establish the facts. Then it's your turn. The press coordinator gave them the signal. Charles Westbrook walked to the podium with slow dignity. Thank you all for coming, he began. 3 weeks ago, I wandered away from my hotel during a rainstorm. I have early onset dementia. Some days I'm lucid, others I'm confused. That night was a confused night. I ended up in a parking garage, hypothermic, disoriented, possibly dying. The room was silent. A janitor named Marcus Hayes found me. He gave me his umbrella, his only umbrella, and held it over my head while rain soaked him through. When I collapsed, he caught me. He tried to call for help. He saved my life. Charles paused, letting the words land. My daughter arrived and, seeing me confused and in the arms of a stranger, assumed the worst. She accused Mr. Hayes of assault, filed a police report. Her accusations led to his immediate suspension from work. What followed was a campaign of character assassination, news articles, social media attacks, death threats. Mr. Hayes lost his job, his apartment, his ability to afford medication for his asthmatic son. A reporter raised her hand. "Mr. Westbrook, are you saying your daughter lied?" "I'm saying she was wrong. Catastrophically wrong. And her wrongness destroyed an innocent man's life." Charles looked directly at the camera. "I've reviewed the security footage extensively. There is no question, Marcus Hayes is guilty of nothing except extraordinary kindness. And for that kindness, he was punished." He stepped back. "Mr. Hayes will speak for himself now." Marcus walked to the podium on shaking legs. A sea of faces stared back. Cameras. Recording devices. Jamie in the front row, watching with wide eyes. Tell them the truth. "My name is Marcus Hayes," he began. "I'm 34 years old. I'm a single father. I worked night shifts as a janitor for 8 years at this building." His voice steadied. 16 months ago, my wife was killed by a distracted driver. The driver got probation. I got bills and grief and a 6-year-old son who still asks when mommy's coming home. I kept working, kept showing up. Because that's what you do. You survive." A camera flashed. Marcus didn't flinch. 3 weeks ago, I saw an old man shivering in the rain. He was confused, cold. I gave him my umbrella, caught him when he fell, tried to help. And for that, his voice cracked slightly. For that, I lost everything. The articles called me aggressive, a criminal. People sent me death threats, posted my address online. My son's face was shared by strangers who wanted to hurt us. I couldn't find work because every employer who Googled my name saw the accusations. I couldn't pay rent, couldn't afford my son's asthma medication. I watched my child struggle to breathe because I didn't have $85. Marcus looked at Catherine in the back row. She was crying. "I don't want revenge. I don't want money. I want people to understand what happens when you assume the worst about someone because of how they look or what they do for a living. I want people to know that invisibility is a kind of death, that being dismissed, being thrown away, being treated as disposable, that destroys people." He gripped the podium. "I helped someone. That should have been the end of the story. Instead, it almost ended me." Marcus stepped back. The room erupted in questions, but Charles moved forward, shielding Marcus from the onslaught. His lawyers stepped up to handle the rest, details about the lawsuit against Preston Financial, the formal exoneration, the public apology that would be issued. Marcus slipped away to the front row, where Jamie immediately climbed into his arms. "Did you tell them, Daddy? Did you tell them you're good?" Marcus held his son tight. "Yeah, buddy. I told them." 2 weeks later, Preston Financial's board of directors announced sweeping reforms. New policies protecting employees who reported concerns. Anonymous hotlines. Mandatory bias training for all management. A victim support fund for workers who'd been wrongfully terminated. The reforms were named the Jessica Hayes Initiative, after Marcus's wife. Charles had insisted on it. Let her name stand for something. Let her death mean something. Marcus stood in the Preston Financial lobby, not as a janitor this time, but as the initiative's first community liaison. A new position. Better pay. Day shift hours. He'd never have to push a mop bucket again. 6 months later, Marcus and Jamie sat in a family court. Charles Westbrook sat beside them, dressed in his best suit despite the wheelchair. The judge reviewed the paperwork. "Mr. Westbrook, you're 76 years old. You have a medical condition that requires increasing care. Are you certain you want to proceed with this adoption?" "I've never been more certain of anything," Charles said firmly. "And you, Mr. Hayes? You're comfortable with Mr. Westbrook adopting Jamie as a co-guardian?" Marcus looked at Charles, the man who'd become family, who'd fought for them, who'd given them back their lives and dignity and hope. "Absolutely." The judge signed the papers. "Then it's official. Congratulations." Jamie didn't fully understand the legal terminology, but he understood what mattered. He had a grandfather now. Someone else who loved him, protected him, showed up. They celebrated at the Grandview's restaurant, just the three of them, plus Mrs. Chen, who'd been invited as honorary family. Charles raised his water glass. To umbrellas. And the people who share them. Marcus clinked his glass against Charles's. To second chances. To family, Jamie added, grinning. Asterisk asterisk a year after the press conference, Marcus stood in a community center in Queens. Asterisk asterisk. The space was new, funded by the Westbrook Foundation. It offered job training, legal aid, health services, all free. All focused on helping people society had made invisible. The center was named Haven. Simple. Direct. Marcus ran the intake program. He knew how to talk to people who'd been crushed by systems, who'd lost everything, who'd been punished for trying to survive. He knew because he'd been there. Today, a woman came in, 40s, exhausted, desperate. She'd been fired after reporting harassment. Now she couldn't find work, couldn't pay rent, had 2 kids who needed her. Marcus listened to her story, then stood and opened a filing cabinet. Here's what we're going to do, he began, pulling out forms. First, we connect you with our legal team. Then we talk to our job placement coordinator. We'll get your kids enrolled in our after-school program. It includes dinner. And we have an emergency fund for immediate needs like rent assistance. The woman started crying. Why? You don't even know me. I don't need to know you. You need help. That's enough. She left an hour later with resources, a plan, and something she'd lost somewhere along the way, hope. Asterisk asterisk that evening, Marcus picked up Jamie from school. Asterisk asterisk. His son ran toward him, backpack bouncing. Daddy, guess what? We learned about heroes in class today. Yeah. What kind of heroes? The teacher said heroes are people who help others even when it's hard, even when nobody sees, even when they don't get anything back. Jamie looked up at Marcus with serious eyes. Like you, Daddy. You're a hero. Marcus knelt down, pulled his son close. I'm just a guy who tried to do the right thing, buddy. That's what a hero is. Asterisk asterisk that night, after Jamie was asleep, Marcus stood on his apartment balcony. Asterisk asterisk. Not the Grandview anymore. Charles had helped him buy a modest 2-bedroom in a safe neighborhood. Not fancy, but theirs. Rain started falling. Soft, steady. Marcus thought about the umbrella. The one he'd given away in a parking garage. The one that had cost $1 and ended up changing everything. He'd bought a new umbrella months ago. Better quality. Sturdier. But he hadn't used it yet. Tomorrow, he decided. Tomorrow he'd carry it. And if he saw someone in the rain, someone struggling, someone invisible, someone who needed help, he'd give it away again. Without hesitation. Because kindness shouldn't be rare. It shouldn't be risky. It should just be. Marcus closed his eyes, felt the rain on his face, and smiled. Somewhere across the city, Charles Westbrook was falling asleep in his suite at the Grandview, his dementia progressing but his conscience clear. He'd done something meaningful. Used his wealth for good. Turned a wrong into a right. And in Queens, in a small apartment with Spider-Man posters on the walls, Jamie Hayes slept soundly. Safe. Loved. Secure. All because of an umbrella. All because of kindness. All because one man refused to walk past someone who needed help, even when helping cost him everything. The rain kept falling. And the world, slowly, became just a little bit better.